Have you ever felt so stressed out in life that you can't even think straight? That everything you do, every breath you take, just seems to create more stress and more anxiety? Have you ever been so overwhelmed and exhausted that you're stuck in a freeze state, and even getting out of bed or getting off the couch seems like a monumental task that's nearly impossible? All of these things are natural human responses to stress. And stress is one of the main deterrents and one of the most detrimental things that can be affecting us, our mental health, our physical and emotional and spiritual health as well. One of the things that I do regularly and that we'll talk about in this video is called grounding. And by the end of this video, you're gonna see why grounding is important and know exactly what it does, and hopefully be inspired to start practicing it yourself. So grounding is something very simple. It comes from literally just keeping contact or touching the earth. The earth carries a negative electronic charge. And by earthing or grounding, and these names are semantics, they're used interchangeably, I should say. You are absorbing negative electrons from the earth. So what benefit does this do, and how can it help you with your life? Things like anxiety, chronic fatigue, inflammation in your body, things like this. Well, it's just being researched. Well, it's becoming researched more and more. And it has been shown in some of the early studies that something as simple as touching the earth with your bare feet or your bare hands, or in some way, shape, or form, or submerging yourself in the ocean, having physical contact with the earth for as little as 5 to 10 minutes a day can have some major health benefits in your life. Some of these major health benefits are reducing inflammation within your body, reducing stress and anxiety, bringing you to a centered state, helping with any chronic fatigue or chronic pain that you have in your body. And how can this be done? By literally just touching Mother Earth. What happens is when you ground on a regular basis and you come in contact with Mother Earth, you are reconnecting with the natural cycles of nature, of rhythm in your body and in Mother Earth of life. And on a very surface level, if you think about it, it makes sense. If Mother Earth is on her own cycle, her own clock, and goes at her own rhythm, at her own pace, in which the flowers grow, in which the seasons change, in which the clouds produce rain and start to form. She does this all on her own, on her natural clock. It would make sense then, by us as human beings, being products of Mother Nature, part of Mother Nature, we are Mother Nature, that when we connect with her regularly, our bare skin to the contact of the grass, the dirt, the sand, whatever it is, the water, and by doing this consistently each day, you are reconnecting and recalibrating your natural circadian rhythms and the natural cycles within your life. So when you're touching Mother Earth and you're absorbing her electrons into your body, and you're having an energetic exchange, you are becoming more present. You are becoming more in coherence and in the cycles of Mother Earth, of Mother Nature. In other words, the natural rhythm of life. So how is this done? Well, how it's actually done is very simple. You literally can just go and stand on the grass, on the earth, on the sand, outside of your house, at a park, at a beach, on a hiking trail, wherever. Literally, anywhere. It's as easy as can be. And you go and you put your bare feet on Mother Earth for a period of time. Or you go and sit down and put your hands on Mother Earth for a period of time. At least 5 to 10 minutes is what I would recommend. But what you'll feel, and especially if you're in a stressed out state, that you'll probably want to do it longer. And this is because you are reconnecting with the natural cycles. So if you're someone who is constantly anxious, overstimulated, and stressed out, by reconnecting and grounding yourself, you are allowing your energies, some of your positive electrons, some of your stressful energy, some of your overwhelming, pent up anxiety to be absorbed by Mother Earth and absorb more of a natural calming rhythm into your life and in your energy cycle. Part of this also happens, or part of it also improves your sleep, because when you touch Mother Earth and you go into your natural cycle or your natural rhythm with her, you are resetting what's called your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is your natural sleep and wake cycle. So if you work the graveyard shift and you're up all night, but you sleep in the morning until afternoon, you go to work again at night, you have your own circadian rhythm there, right? You're up at night and you're asleep all day. But this is not the natural sleep cycle, because the natural sleep cycle that we're wired for as humans is to be awake during the daytime and asleep when it's at night. So if you're overwhelmed and or even, if that's the extreme example, right? You're working a graveyard shift, but if you go and you ground regularly, you will notice an improvement in your sleep. This is, of course, given that you're not doing anything extemporaneous or extreme that's pulling you out, or having coffee, right before you go to bed, or some sort of stimulant, or, all these different things that we do so we can stay up late. If you are having problems with your sleep, grounding can help you kind of come back to a more natural circadian rhythm, because again, you're in the natural cycle of Mother Nature. But just something as coming and grounding and sitting in the grass at the park seems like it can be so silly, and there's no way that it can help you with your problems, right? And improve your life. But it's less about the actual act of, you putting your physical skin on Mother Earth and then it's going to fix all of your problems. It comes back to something deeper than that, and that's intention. By you setting the intention to become a more centered, present version of yourself, and taking the action, such as doing something and going sitting at the park and grounding in order to, by setting the intention and getting clear, what you're doing is you're giving a message to your subconscious and also your higher self to begin to guide you to become a more centered, clear thinking, mindful individual. And when you are a more clear thinking, centered, and mindful individual, then you move at your own pace, and regardless of the external stimuli and distractions that we're constantly bombarded with outside every single day by everything and everyone that we're around in today's society, you become the calm in the storm. You become the eye of the hurricane. You become a walking vibration of peace, of love, of centeredness, and whatever happens in your external reality, you are the eye of the storm. You're still remaining present and centered and calm, and this equips you and gives you more tools and more capabilities and energy to be able to solve whatever problems are happening in your external reality. All that your external world is a reflection of your inner state of being. So if you live a life of chaos, of extreme stress, where you're constantly overwhelmed, it's because that is your internal state. So by going and doing something like setting an intention to get rid of that stress, to alleviate yourself of your fears, and be centered by doing something like grounding and coming in constant physical contact with Mother Earth, you are beginning to make a profound inner shift in which you are becoming a better version of yourself. A better version of yourself in what way? In the way that you can walk silently amidst the chaos and anything that's happening in your outside world. In other words, when problems arise at work or in your relationships, you are centered, you're clear, you're calm, you're focused, you're intuitive, you're in connection with your higher self and your spirit guides, so that you can clearly and quickly receive the best possible solutions and answers and actions to what you need in that moment, regardless of what the situation is. And this is what happens when you become centered. This is what happens when you become grounded. This is what happens when you are present. Because indeed, being present is you being at the 0 point. You're not living in the future and you're not living in the past. You're right here in the middle. And what happens in the middle? You receive that higher guidance in your third eye. This is when your soul, your spirit guides can speak to you clearly because you're in a calm, centered state. So intuitively, the messages, they're not whispers or chant signs or weird synchronicities. It's almost like a clear, soft voice from your own heart, your own soul that's able to speak to you and guide you in order to respond in the absolute best way possible, so that you can create the outcomes that you want in your life. And this is how and why something as simple as setting an intention and grounding can be so beneficial to you in your life. Another practice that you always hear me talk about that really helps you benefit in this way and become centered and present is meditation, which is simply being in silence, which is mindfulness, which is sitting in the stillness and being quiet in order to connect with yourself and be in the middle, not in the future, not in the past, but in the middle. And in the middle, again, what happens? Straight through your crown chakra, you receive that lightning bolt of guidance through your third eye and your intuition, and you know exactly what you should do, and any answers that you need in your life to any questions that you may have can come through without any interference, because it's not fighting for your attention. You're simply receiving the divine message because you're centered. So today, it's been a while since I've made a video, and I just kind of wanted to get on and talk about grounding and get in the habit of making content again. I've been on a trip. I went to a music festival. It's very special and near and dear to my heart, and it's very transformational. It's very powerful. Every time I go to it, it's always changed my life for the better. And there's a lot that I get to sift through. But one of the questions I asked was, am I supposed to still do YouTube? Am I supposed to still speak and share my thoughts, my wisdom that I've been gifted and lessons that I've learned on YouTube? Am I supposed to still do this? And they said, the answer is very clearly, yes, you are supposed to do this. And I think this channel is going to start transforming a little bit, maybe even become a little bit more esoteric and spiritual than I have in the past. One of the personal reflections I'm having actually currently in the moment is I think that maybe some of the topics and things I would talk about would be more on the practical 3D, personal development side, because I've done a lot of that aspect too. But I think where I'm really supposed to share is my gifts with some of the more etheric and spiritual concepts in this world. And one of my gifts is to be able to take some of these more ethereal, misunderstood knowledge concepts, ancient wisdom, etc., and distill them into a modern, practical way that can be digested and help people. And so we'll see how this journey goes, but wanted to get back on here and talk again today. And tonight we're talking about grounding and why it's important and how it can help you. Getting in touch with Mother Nature and being in silence is one of the most valuable things you can do for yourself. So if you feel lost in your life, if you don't know where to go or what you should be doing, this is a great place to start, is meditation and grounding. Because in that way, as you do it consistently, it's not a one and done, it's a practice. You do it over and over, just like you practice learning and speaking a new language, or you practice swinging a golf club, or you practice whatever it is you do in your life. Everything requires practice to get better. This is what this is: a meditation practice, a yoga practice, a grounding practice. These are practices, things for you to do that will begin to change the direction and the shape of your life, because it'll transform you from the inside out and make you a more well-rounded, whole, centered, better version of yourself. And it's a better version because it's the more authentic version. It's you getting in touch with your intuition, with your angels, with your higher self, with your soul. It's you letting go of the ego and all the other things about appearance and getting in touch with your truth for you. So that's what I got for you today, guys. I love you so much. You can expect a lot more videos starting to come again and soon. And I appreciate you and love you with all of my heart. Thank you so much for watching. And please let me know if you have any questions. I would love to connect. I'll see you very soon in the next video. Peace.